Okay, so pandemic. I got that in the rearview mirror, but I want to ask you what you learned or what changed you. Like for me, I've always been running from one fire to the next, and my wife would tell me, Keely would say, Bill, you're not living life, you're just running through it. Like, you know, when a young kid will walk down the street and they see a butterfly or something, they'll watch the butterfly. I'm just on fire running to wherever I'm going. And I think the pandemic made me want to live a little more, like, and that life is precious, and I just want to focus on experience and relationships more than I had. Did you have any effect on you with the pandemic?
Profound. First of all, I mean, from a business perspective, I've never been more frightened, fearful in my life.
I thought it was going to be great.
There was no playbook.
Right.
And you had the wild card of what is the government going to do?
Right.
You know, and we saw, in hindsight, I think will be proven some pretty wacky things.
Totally.
You know, there were some good things.
Right.
But there were some pretty wacky things we did.
Yes.
And it was frightening. You know, I started thinking about all the employees that I'm responsible for in one way or another. I mean, it's thousands of people. And it was scary. Take a company like Canyon Ranch, and you just shut down.
Right.
And we have, you know, the ex-Surgeon General of the U.S. on our payroll. We've got doctors. We've got, you know, people that are specialists in their fields. You can't lose them. You couldn't rebuild the business without those people. So how do you keep them? That was scary.
How long was Canyon Ranch shut down? Was it months?
You know, let's call it a year, but it depended on what market we were in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because we're big fans of Canyon Ranch. We're there twice a year, and we love
Awesome.
it. I think it's the gold standard of that, for sure. So, you think people are coming back to the office? You know, it's kind of driving me crazy. I've got buddies that are tenants in my buildings, and I think work from home should be illegal. It should be against the law. And if I could run and get elected, that would be the first law I would pass. But I go to like on trips, golf trips with these guys, and they're in my building, one of my buildings. He's got 40,000 feet. He says everybody's coming to work February 1st, and he gets the Hamburger Man, and you can bring your dog, and they're having babysitters, donuts at lunch, and like 10% of the people show. And they're tracking productivity, and I don't think productivity is the same. There's no collaboration when you're working from home, in my opinion.
I don't know how you build a culture.
Right.
How do you build a culture on Zoom?
Right.
I will say this. I have not seen one big idea, and that's what I do. I look for big ideas. I've not seen one big idea come out of a Zoom call. I don't think that's gonna happen. Can you process things and kind of advance the ball? Sure, and it's probably pretty efficient in certain situations. Right. But yes, people will come back to the office. Look, it's not keeping anybody away from sporting events and concerts, right? They're all full.
I totally agree
totally
with
back.
That. I totally agree.
But for some reason, we had this transfer of power that is probably similar to when unions were started, from employers to employees.
Totally.
And if you look at the age demographic, I think it's all at the younger age. And so all of a sudden they were empowered to, hey, I can stay home, I'm productive Friday, Monday, and all they're doing is creating a longer weekend. Now I realize they may be working some, but when I start hearing dogs barking, you know, in the back, we're trying to have a conversation, like, this is silly. So I think they come back. I think economics is going to drive it. I think it's going to take time. I think it nibbles on the edges of the office business. It will. It'll have an impact. Definitely has an impact on what we at Crescent are looking to buy. I think there's commodity product that's just not going to be competitive.
I agree.
So it will have an impact, a lasting impact, but people will come back.
So do you think that's a couple years? I mean,
it's going to evolve, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's a couple of years.
You know, I would drive down the street.
It's going to be economics. When people start seeing they're paid differently than the then the other person
Right.
who's going in,
Right.
they're ultimately,
Right.
it's,
I agree with
it gets chase the dollar.
Like, I would be driving during the pandemic and see 15 people on bikes at 2 in the afternoon. I go, that's work from home right there, baby.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah.